Sorry about that. So let's start again. Didn't have the sound turned up. So if those of you who have been paying attention to what was going on in the description box, I had two different projects that I was working on, and I got through with National Novel Writing Month. And as a result of that, I ended up putting a project that I had been working on through the end of October. I put that on hold. And so when I got done with NaNoWriMo, I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick that one back up and start working on that one again. And so that's what I did. And that project was I'll go ahead and pull it up right now, at least in front of my screen. So that project right now, the one that I stopped before last month, was at about 70,000 words. So I was like right there knocking on the door of the end of that project. So I'm going to keep going with that particular project. And one of the things that I'm going to have to do, because I didn't do it initially when I wrote this, is really work on developing the description of the book, the inside cover, if you will. That's something else that I'm going to have to work on as well. I have a kind of a rough estimate of what that was going to be like. And so I need to work on that as well. So if you come in, please consider hitting the like button for the video. And if you are working on a project, let me know what project you're working on. If you want to kick some ideas around, if you want to talk strategy about writing or anything else, if you're reading and you want to share what you're reading, that's perfectly fine too. I'm probably going to start doing some reading sprints as well, because I definitely want to keep myself on track. And when I'm thinking if I do reading sprints, it'll be better than wasting time just kind of mindlessly on the internet checking out social media. So I'm going to be doing that soon. So be on the lookout for that as well. So typically what we do when we come in here is we do our 15-minute writing sprints. And so we'll break off. I'll get the clock up. In fact, let me go ahead and get that set up right now. Let me go ahead and get that set up right now. Move that away. Set this bad boy up. I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to go super full screen countdown. Set it for 15 minutes. Not 50 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll be a little bit more heavy-handed with this thing. So I'm going to get that set for 15 minutes and get going with that. Thank you, and hi to you as well. From wherever everybody is, we're just going to be just doing some writing, and just kind of chilling out, chopping it up, talking, whatever you guys want to talk about related to writing, or I don't know, anything else that I might be able to talk to you guys about. Certainly open to that. We're up here in the northern Midwest, and so we got a little bit of snow last night. So I don't know, I'm guessing like maybe a couple inches of snow. I haven't had a chance to get outside yet. I'll probably have to shovel the foot of my driveway to clear it out a little bit. Not that I'm necessarily going anywhere today. I'm going to be on at least a couple different live streams today. I'm going to join a live stream later today that I'm excited to be a part of, and as we'll start to kind of map out some of the things that we're going to be looking at doing in 2021 from a reading standpoint. So it'll be a BookTube panel, so to speak, and I'm looking forward to that. So be on the lookout for that later, and I'll probably give you some more details about that as we go on. So it should be a lot of fun. Haven't been on a ton of panels, but it sounds like it's always an interesting thing just to kind of talk with other booktubers about things that they're looking at and they're thinking about, especially booktubers that have different interests, different reading interests. And so I'm looking to expand my reading interest in 2021. And part of that is going to be, I'm going to be looking at reading more fantasy type books, and I'm also going to be expanding into more science fiction type books as well, just to at least test out the waters of whether I was going to be interested in those types of books. And I'm getting a sneak peek of that right now. I'm reading a Sarah J. Maas book right now, A Court of Thorn and Roses, and I'm just about 20 pages into it, but it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's been pretty interesting, and trying to jump into that, a different type of genre to get started on. So Nazy says, keep that snow in the Midwest. It's interesting. It's just kind of like our little sliver of the state of Michigan kind of got smacked last night, and we're going to get kind of mini slapped here a little bit during the day. So I'm thinking they were saying anywhere from like 6 to 10 inches of snow, and I'm not really interested in that. So right now, I think there's probably maybe a couple inches of snow. It's just kind of more of a little bit of a dusting right now, and the wind's kind of whipping it around a little bit. Plow came by and plowed a big chunk of snow at the foot of my driveway, so I'll probably need to go and clear that before it freezes and turns into a glacier, though. I do have an SUV, so I can drive over it pretty easily, but once they get that compacted snow and ice in there, it becomes like almost like it's almost like sharp glass, so you want to drive over it very carefully. And so since I have a new vehicle, I'm not interested in doing any damage to my new tires. So we'll be careful with that. But yeah, it's interesting. This is that time of the year, so we'll have snow here and there. And then you never know, next week we could have, 40 degrees. That's cold for a lot of you. And this time of the year, that's pretty warm. You'll take that. You'll probably see people outside in shorts and a t-shirt in 40 degrees once you get whipped up by some chilly temperatures in like the teens and 20s and below the teens. And so 40 degrees feels pretty good. So, all right. So let me jump into this story. And the story that I'm working on is, I have a series of stories that I've been developing, and this is the second novel in the series that I'm working on. Now, it's not a progressive series necessarily where you have to read one to understand the other. It's more like if James Patterson's Alex Cross, if you're kind of familiar with that type of series, it's a main character who has different adventures. And so I've been working on that, and I already did the first one, which I finished, I want to say earlier this year. And so this second one is the main character is she is pursuing a career as a newspaper reporter, but she also has a history with one of her parents, who is a very mysterious CIA agent, and she has been trained by this parent to be essentially a spy and, if need be, an assassin. And so she ends up kind of going through different adventures. If you remember, like, I'm going to show my age here when I say this, but like the old TV series, the Incredible Hulk, and when he wasn't the Hulk, he was going around to like different cities and places, and then he would get kind of caught up in a bad situation, and then he would turn into the Hulk, and he would kind of fix the situation. That's obviously a very quick way of summarizing it, but that's kind of what she does. And so kind of like Clark Kent and Superman, she like tries not to show her superpowers, if you will, and she tries to kind of keep it low key. But anyway, I'm working on this latest story, and so as I mentioned, I was about 70,000 words into it when I hit the pause button to start a new story for NaNoWriMo. So that's where I'm at right now. And so I'm basically, in deep into Act 3, and I'm closing the story out. So that's what my writing sprints are going to be about today. So let me go ahead and get this clock up on the screen here. Fortunately, I can't look out any windows right now in the room I'm in and see the snow. So that's probably a good thing right now. So let me go ahead and add that clock up here. So the clock we're using, of course, online-stopwatch.com is the clock that we're using. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We are at 10:48 a.m. Eastern time. So this is going to take us to past the top of the hour and just short of about 5 minutes past the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and get the clock started. If you guys are working on a project, go ahead and get started on it. If you guys are reading, then go ahead and see what you can get in terms of reading. And I'll come back with, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be much of a focus on word count because that's not going to be quite as important as trying to be sharp here as I close out the novel that I'm working on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this clock and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, let me go ahead and add up what I got here. Not necessarily a ton of words here, but let's see what we got. Actually, maybe a little bit more than I thought. All right, so all right. So 401 words on that writing sprint for me. And as I mentioned, I'm coming down toward the end of this particular piece that I'm working on. So that's a good thing right now. So still more than 72,000 words. It's kind of like I'd have to go back and literally tally it up. But here, let's see. I can probably do that real quick just to see where we are actually at. And I'm at 72,352 words officially for this story. And I was at right at about 70,000 when I hit the pause button to work on the NaNoWriMo project, which I did end up finishing a little bit after the official NaNoWriMo timeframe of November. So I did meet the goal of 50,000 words. And then it took me another, I think I finished the month with a little over 60,000. And then it took me about 75,000 to bring the story to a finish. So let me first go ahead and reset the clock so this doesn't get you guys tripping out here a little bit. So I'll just go ahead and reset that. And if you guys are checking out the channel, I did release a video. I've released several videos this week on the channel. One including in this list of videos that I released this week, I had my wrap up for the month of November, my reading wrap up for the month of November, which included a number of nonfiction books. So that was cool to get that out. And then I also had in November, setting the stage, I should say, for December, I had my TBR for the month of December. It's a very ambitious TBR. There's a lot of books on it. Not necessarily all books that I'm intending on reading, but a lot of books that are just kind of there to consider. And so I'm hoping to stay pretty consistent and get read in that probably 6 to 10 range is what I'm going to go for. I already have one book knocked out, and that's Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. So that was pretty good. That was a little bit of a holdover. I started it at the very end of the month of November, and so we'll notch that as one of the December reads, since the overwhelming majority of it I read in the month of December. So that was a good one. That was a fun story to read. It was kind of an interesting perspective story to read, in that you are led to believe something in the beginning and through much of the story. And then as the story evolves, you start to question, and then it has a conclusion at the end to that it's going to take you for a little bit of a spin. So it actually is kind of interesting. All right. So let's see what you got going on here. Nazy41 says, made a big change and cut a chunk of dialogue. The scene is tighter, but my head is spinning. The timer went off just in time. That's an interesting point about dialogue, because my stories they tend to be pretty dialogue heavy, and I try to focus on really authentic dialogue to me help carry the story. And the narrative is obviously important too, but I really like the narrative parts sometimes, because it can help you kind of shape the characters a little bit. So it'd be interesting to hear others' viewpoints on that. And sometimes there is a such thing as too much. I mean, you don't necessarily want your novel to read like a transcript, but at the same time, it does help you to kind of shape your characters a little bit. So there's definitely a balance that we have to come up with to make sure that we're telling the story effectively with dialogue to complement the narrative text too. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into mini sprint number 2, and keep the progress train rolling here a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and hang on. Let me do this real quick. Let me set the stage here. Let's see about. Okay. So we're going to get started with mini sprint number 2. And that's going to take us right up till about 11:25. So getting pretty close to the bottom of the hour as we keep this thing going. I'm going to probably go until pretty close to noon, to the noon hour. So that's what we're looking at. So, all right, let me go ahead and hit the start button right now. Get to that typewriter, or just if you need to take a break and think through things, then go ahead and do that as well. So here we go. Okay, and this latest writing sprint is in the books, and I'm keeping my progress at a pretty steady rate. I did not necessarily match the word count progress of the first mini sprint today, but I did clock in at 330 words during this last writing sprint. So that was pretty good progress here, and definitely feel pretty good about that. So just trying to stay on top of things here. Hold on, let me go ahead and pop that one up on there and get ready for the next and maybe last writing sprint here of the morning as I look ahead to hopefully an opportunity to get back on here tomorrow morning almost for sure. I'm going to say tomorrow morning, but then also trying to get on here for a collab video that I'm going to be excited to be a part of later today. And I'm going to see if I can pull this up real quick. Going to be jumping on probably later today. Looks like probably about 4 p.m. I'll be joining a collab with Margaret Pinard, one of my good buddies here on BookTube. So looking forward to that and appreciate her inviting me to be a part of that and excited to join it. And hopefully it'll be an opportunity to have some fun and talk about some books. And so we'll see how that goes. As I look ahead to my reading goals for 2021, which, as I mentioned earlier, include an expanded reading palette, I guess is probably a good way of saying it, to just try to read more of different types of books than what I've typically been reading. I think a lot of times we get in a comfort zone with the books that we're reading and we don't want to get moved off of our spot. So I'm looking forward to just getting moved off my spot a little bit and trying some different books and some different authors. And so that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and probably watch a little college football, or at least have some playing in the background, try to get some reading in, also try to get some writing in as well. And we got some snow, so I might have to get some shoveling in as well, work up a little sweat shoveling some snow out here that the plows put in at the foot of my driveway. So that's something that there's going to be a reckoning for that as well. So, okay, let me go ahead and get started with this 15-minute writing sprint. That's we're going to get going, and I'll let it go another couple minutes. And then this next 15-minute writing sprint will take us to a quarter to noon. And then we'll go ahead and wrap this session up. And I'll go ahead and get some more writing in, probably, again, like I said, get some more reading in and check up on what my fellow booktubers are, try to engage with some booktubers and do a little snow shoveling. And then, of course, as I said, unfortunately, gonna have to probably go outside and get some of that snow out of the foot of my driveway. So that's going to be a busy day today. I would like to get my laundry done as well. You know, things around the house are never done. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that as well. All right. So let me go ahead and get this next sprint started. Hang on a second. Let me let's see. Nazy says, I set reading goals every year, but I never end up reading what I plan to read. I'm too much of a mood reader. I am a mood reader as well. And it's funny because while it's kind of fun to do the TBR videos, and I really do enjoy doing them, and they're actually some of the videos that probably do best on my channel, I deviate from it quite a bit. And, you know, I'll read, say, a book that's of a certain genre or a certain trope, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm like, man, I'm really into that trope or that genre, and maybe I don't have another one of those books on my TBR, and then I'll just go and look through my collection, or I'll go and buy another book and just go in that direction. So you're right. Same thing for me is that it just could be the mood, or the trend that's going on that can dictate, and maybe knock me off my stride. So I'm very much the same way. But one thing I could do want to focus on is I want to definitely read more fantasy and more science fiction. So those are going to be a focus. I'm not saying I'm going to read a ton of them, but I'm going to definitely try to read a little bit more, just to get some different experiences and to find out if there's some other types of books that I like reading. So that's what I'm hoping for. Spy thrillers are fun to read. I do like reading them as well. I need to find some more, or maybe something fresh that I can read too. So, any recommendations you have, I would definitely be open to them. Let's see. Yep, trends that definitely influence me. That's one of the things that's cool about BookTube, just kind of going around and seeing what other people are reading, the books that are hot, and also I'm trying to find a better way to stay on top of the upcoming releases, and so I'm looking for some outlet that maybe compiles the upcoming releases in a nice and kind of easy to you know to read way that also has books that I'm interested in, and not just books that maybe are outside of my comfort zone, even though I do want to expand my comfort zone. So I'm definitely going to be looking for that as well. Casino Royale, I don't think I've read Casino Royale. I've seen the movies, the kind of spoof one, and then the one with Daniel Craig. I watched both of those, but definitely one that I might be interested in checking out. That's one I should probably check out. All right, let me go ahead and get the clock started. Okay, so we're a couple minutes past, so it's going to take us to about 11:47, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, I'm back at it here. Margaret in the house. Great to see you. Let's see. Let me see some chat here. Have you read The Deep Two? Thoughts about? I have not. Not sure if Nazy has. That's one that I'm gonna have to look up and see if I'm familiar with that one. In the meantime, always good to see my buddy Margaret, and I know she's gearing up for a nice broadcast later today, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So go be sure to check out her channel to keep up with what she's doing. She's definitely the expert amongst my booktube family on historical fiction. So and yes, I will be on it. So I am definitely excited about that. Looking forward to this collab and to really sharpen my booktube goals for the year 2021. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I'm going to make some adjustments to my reading interests this upcoming year. And so it's just going to be a lot of fun to just get on there and just chop it up and see what other people are thinking for their goals. I still have to decide what I'm going to do for my Goodreads goal. So that's going to be a lot of fun to figure out what I'm going to do with my book reads goal. Yes, Sandy will be on it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just, again, looking forward to it. It's just fun to do collabs. I don't do nearly enough of them, and I should do more of them. And so I'm definitely going to try. Hey, you know what? That could be a point of emphasis also for 2021. So as we get ready to make 2020 a wrap here in the next few weeks, that'll be something that I'll be looking forward to as well. Just trying to engage with my fellow booktubers. Let's see. Margaret is giving Goodreads the peace sign. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just, I just don't know about Goodreads sometimes. It's, I think the main thing that I end up using it for is really just the challenge at the end of the year. That's really mainly what I use it for, is just to keep track of my reading, and that's about it. From an engagement standpoint, I don't and maybe other people get more, but I don't get a whole lot of engagement on Goodreads. So I could definitely question it from that perspective. But from the perspective of just keeping track of my reading, it's valuable from that perspective. It's not necessarily where I would go for just reviews or maybe even suggestions, though I've gotten a few from there. But I've heard a lot of people say that about Goodreads. He's going to check out Margaret's channel. Yeah, you should definitely. She does some really cool stuff, and she's definitely on the rise. She's one of those booktubers that's on the rise, and I'm trying to keep pace with her to try to get my channel to grow a little bit too. But yeah, it's a in terms of growth, BookTube can be a challenge. Some people just like just take off, and for some of the rest of us, ordinary people like me, it's a little bit more of a work in progress. So let's see what we got here. See what Nazy's got. Goodreads is only good for tracking what I read. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me too. So I'm definitely open to looking at. I don't know if there's any competitor or competitors to Goodreads that has a way of tracking your reading and your reading goals the way that Goodreads can. Because I'm beginning to think, Nazy, I'm beginning to think that that's probably what a majority of people who use Goodreads use it for. I very rarely have put any reviews for any books that I've read. I usually just and not only just books that I read, but how I rated the books as well. So Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I tell you what, in some ways I've been fortunate. I have had some of that, you know, it's been fun. Like in some ways the growth has been good in terms of subscribers. So I'm definitely happy about that. And but mostly I just really try to focus on having fun with the channel and just try to keep it in perspective. And so as long as I keep having fun, if the viewers come, that's even better. If the subscribers come, that's even better. So let's see. Storygraph. I have not heard of Storygraph. So that's definitely one that I'm going to have to check out too. Because if there's another option out there that can do some of those basic functions that I use Goodreads for, then I would definitely be open to checking that one out. So yeah, let me see. Library Thing is the only other big competitor. Okay, so Storygraph, and let me do that right now. Storygraph. Okay. All right. Well, I got that up. I pulled that up, and I'm going to go ahead and keep both of those in mind for options to look at to help keep track of what I'm reading. It just again that's the convenience of it with Goodreads, but that could what honestly this could be like a I would imagine this could be like a good panel discussion to get some people together and talk about Goodreads because I hear mixed reviews about Goodreads. It's like one of those things that I think a lot of people have it almost like you're supposed to have it like a driver's license, but some people use it more than others. And those who do tend to use it, it seems to be more geared around, as we were just discussing, just keeping track of the books that you read, the progress that you're making in terms of the book that you're reading at a given time, and then setting the Goodreads goal for the end of the year. And so, if there are other options out there, I'm sure that's something that is going to definitely be worth checking out. So, I will definitely keep my eyes open for some of those other options. Isn't that the truth? It would. I'm sure everybody would have grievances to air for for how they feel about Goodreads. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's just amazing how much I've heard people say that or say similar stuff about Goodreads, and I guess I never really thought that much about it, other than I just was so focused on that one basic function of it, which is just the goal, the challenge for the year, and other than that, I just never really. I don't spend a lot of time scrolling through the feed to see necessarily what other people were doing. And then the few times that I have done it, you might see maybe one like here, one like there. And I know a lot of people do. Oh, there's another thing. Some people they do book giveaways on there, and some people like to enter those book giveaways. So I've done it a few times. I've never won anything. So I don't know. I never win contests. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Maybe some of the rest of you folks out here, you guys win contests all the time, but I've never won one. Never had Ed McMahon come to my house with a big check so I could win a Publishers Clearinghouse. That's for sure. So Ed is he always ducked out on my house. So that's unfortunate that I never had a chance to win one of those. So all right. I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down for this particular writing sprint. So we got in just under an hour and a half, and appreciate everybody who came through, everybody who contributed to the chat. It was a lot of fun, and just if you haven't hit the like button for the video, please consider doing that. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to more BookTube and AuthorTube content here. Let's see. You've won a couple of books. Oh my goodness. See, you got a charm on your shoulders. I cannot ever win one of those contests. So I'm like snake bitten on winning contests. So I mean that's just that's good for you though, but man, a bummer for me. I always keep hoping I'm gonna win one, but competition is apparently too great and I'm just not lucky enough. Um Margaret says, sounds good. Keep it moving and see you soon. Looking forward to it. I'm just going to be excited to jump on there and contribute whatever I can for the good of the order and to talk about some books, which is always a fun time. So, all right, thanks everybody again for coming out. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, get in some football, and you know me, I'm going to probably end up doing some reading and some writing too, even while I'm watching football. So we'll see how that goes. But everybody, take care, and I'll be back on probably tomorrow morning, back on my channel here to do another set of reading sprints. Tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to focus on the outline for this big series that I'm going to be beginning here soon. And as I mentioned to you, that series is kind of a cross between the Hunger Games, the 1980s science fiction series V, and the Manchurian Candidate. So it's kind of a cross of all three. So it's shaping up to be kind of interesting, but because of the significant world building that's going to be required for that series that I'm going to start, it's going to definitely take me doing yeoman's work here on the outline process and the character sketches. Those are going to all have to be on point before I'm really going to be ready to begin launching that, because of how tightly tied together everything is going to be. So be on the lookout for that, as I'm going to get started with that project, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to really be the bulk of my writing, I think, in 2021. So thanks everybody for coming out, and I'll see you up here on the next live, which again I expect to be tomorrow morning at about 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So see you.